There are a lot of different cosmetics in Destiny 2. Ship sparrows and ghost shells are the big three. So in this video we are going to be covering the top 10 ships in Destiny 2. Now this list has 3 criteria: the overall coolness of the ship, the nostalgia of the ship, and the overall work it took to get the ship in general. At number 10 we have the Arcadia class jump ship. Now this is all the way at number 10 because it is purely here for just nostalgia reasons. It doesn't really look that cool, but it is one of the most iconic ships in Destiny. You got it in the first mission of Destiny 1, first ship you ever acquire, and when they brought New Light into Destiny 2, it was brought back and you were able to relive that experience again. And even if you weren't a New Light player, you got to do the quest and go and grab the ship again. There were also a lot of different variants of the ship in Destiny 1 and also in Destiny 2, naming the ones from Destiny 1 are the Rise of Iron ship and the one from Wrath of the Machine. Coming in at number 9 is the Scrap CF71791. This is the exotic ship from the Outbreak Perfected mission in Destiny 2. Now the reason this is all the way up here is because it's one of the hardest ships to get because it's tied behind the secret quest, but it also looks really bad. So the difficulty of it is really good, but I feel like the cooler ships need to be down in the lower numbers. So the reason that this one was hard is because you had to get the Outbreak normally, then you had to go into the Heroic and get the Catalyst, and then you were able to grab the key cards and the configuration in the beginning. And you had to repeat this process for 3 weeks in a row, and then going and looking at the terminals and knowing which of the 7 areas of what color you had to activate at the time. And you had to do that with the time limit going down, only getting a few seconds back every time you get a correct one, and then eventually you would get the ship. Number 8 is the Platinum Starlength. Now this ship does look really cool, but it was a pain to get. It's not like it was a cool thing to go for. Of course you want to get the blacksmith title, but this one doing 100 frames from Ada, either the legendaries or the rare ones would count. This ship just caused a lot of people to hate forges, but since it looks pretty cool, but it has such a negative connotation to it, it's all the way up here at number 8. Number 7, we have Death to Kells. Now this ship is literally just one that they sold and looks like the fallen ships around the world. So this one's all the way up here because it looks cool and it's an enemy ship. We don't really have a lot of enemy themed items in the game too much that almost verbatim represent what the enemy ships look like. So it comes in at number 7. Number 6, I'm doing a tie between the Palace Galley and the Ermine Tack ship from the Last Wish raid. Now the reason these are tied is because you could honestly go with either of them because they're both Dreaming City things. Now the Palace Galley was a very historical ship based on its drop rate, only dropping from stuff in the Shattered Throne. Originally I think it was only from the boss fight you could get it from, but then they made it from all encounters and made the drop rate higher. Someone like me that was going for the Cursebreaker title didn't get this ship until they made the drop rate a lot higher. It has a lot of work put behind it, and really the only reason to get it was for Cursebreaker, so you'd have to put in all the other effort for the title. And the Last Wish ship is also here because you needed it for Cursebreaker. Would have to get a certain key from the final boss, and you would have to do the raid again to go and put this key in to get the Ermine ship. And that's why these two are tied, because you could go either or here if you just wanted a Dreaming City ship, but if you wanted to get the title, you have to put the work in. Number 5 is Saint 14's Grey Pigeon. Now this is kind of in the middle here, above some of the ones that require work and below some of the ones that we haven't gotten to yet, because it doesn't really look the coolest, but it is kind of iconic for the reason that Saint 14 uses this ship in the tower, and because he was such a big piece in the lore and everyone loves Saint 14, you can't really hate him. It comes over at number 5 just because it's iconic, nostalgic, and it has somewhat of a flair to it. Number 4 is 1,000 Wings. Now this ship looks awesome, perfectly representing the Agnarch card from Destiny 1, but I think this one looks way better than Destiny 1, and it's locked behind Whisper, which is such an awesome secret mission, and the gun is still worth getting today rather than Outbreak, where it's not really the most relevant thing. People still use Whisper as top DPS weapons. Getting the ship was super cool too, going into the Whisper mission and shooting oracles. Just like Outbreak, you have to do this one 3 weeks in a row, but the Whisper mission just seemed like much less of a pain doing than Outbreak, and it looks a hell of a lot cooler, so it's down at number 4. At number 3, we have Solar Sails. Now, there's one reason I'll get to in a minute by why this is at number 3, but I really wanted to put this one at number 4. I guess it can kind of interchange between the Whisper ship. The Whisper ship requires a lot more work, because this one is just one that's sold in Eververse. But the reason that this one is at number 3 is because when it first came out, it got such a positive response from the community. A lot of big streamers loved this ship and gave Bungie props for making a ship that looked really unique. And that's why this is here. It shows a lot of like creativity within the Bungie team, because there's not a lot of ships out there that really vary from 5 different designs that we have. At number 2, we have the Black Peregrine. Now, I use this ship all the time. I don't remember the last time I've taken this ship off, even when a new one comes in, if it's from a mission like Whisper or Outbreak. It might be some bias you're feeling from me, but it looks good for really any shader, and it has also a unique design, maybe more than the Solar Sails. That the ones that are cooler looking are going to be at this part of the list. Solar Sails, Black Peregrine, and the Whisper ship really need to be up here. Finally, at number 1, we have the Darkness ships. Now, the reason these are at number 1 is because I would love to fly one of these around, but also because they bring back nostalgia from Destiny 1 of knowing that the Darkness ships were a thing from concept art, but also because in Destiny 2, they are now more prevalent, and we are hoping to soon see a big reveal of them. They are probably the coolest looking in the game, and they have the most meaning to them. They're the most iconic ships that if you see a black triangle in the game anywhere, that is reminiscent of the Darkness. So it just looks, and it creates a lot of hope, and it creates a lot of people thinking about the future of Destiny isn't all bleak and bad. So that's what I have for you guys for top 10 ships in Destiny 2. I am probably going to be doing a top 10 Ghost Shell or a top 10 Sparrow video soon. And another one I have planned is the last minute of all 6 of the Grandmaster strikes. Once they're all out, that'll be up. So thank you all for watching, and have a good day. Peace.